My daughter struck back at her bully after her parents did nothing because they thought she would end up falling in love with him, but I told her good job and managed to get the bully expelled from school. I need to know if I'm the crazy one here. My 13-year-old daughter has a bully. He's one of those boys connected to someone in the school district. We've had multiple issues with him harassing her, and sadly my daughter gets bullied a lot. We're actually planning to transfer her to a new school because the public schools haven't done anything, and this last semester things turned physical. The bully pushed her and she stumbled backward. Fortunately it was just scratches, but I was furious. He was suspended, though he had been suspended before. Today I tried talking to his parents and they just made excuses, the most absurd being that the two of them will probably end up together someday because of how they argue. I told them very clearly that their son shouldn't even look at my daughter, and that the only thing he should ever say to her is an apology. They came back with, "Well, he's suspended. What more do you want?" This summer she was at a STEM camp, she begged me to enroll her, but the bully was also there. And this time, during their outdoor break, the teacher was literally on his phone when the bully, in full view of several students, shoved my daughter. She turned around and punched him in the stomach. Now the bully is facing possible suspension from the camp. Not from the district, but I filed another formal complaint, this time threatening legal action. I asked my daughter if she defended herself and she said she was scared he would hurt her because he threatened to knock her out. I said, "Okay, good job defending yourself. I'm glad you're okay. Let's watch a movie and relax." I told my siblings on Father's Day and immediately my older brother and his wife said I should never have encouraged her to fight anyone. I argued that I didn't, I'm just glad she defended herself when she was scared and the adult responsible for watching her wasn't even paying attention. They claim she'll now think hitting people is acceptable the next time she feels hurt, that I'm a bad mother for opening that door. Am I? If she's in real danger, I don't ever want her to hesitate to protect herself because she thinks she'll get in trouble for it. But now I'm doubting everything. She seems fine now, and I took the week off so we could celebrate Liberation Day together and disconnect from everything, but I want her to grow up safe. Am I the bad one for saying good job? Wow, that's a lot of comments. I'm editing some mistakes and clarifying questions and assumptions because I can't reply to all of them tonight. Several students confirmed her story, so no, I don't think she's lying or that she started a fight for no reason. She's one of the most grounded kids there is. I won't say she's never lied to me, but I usually know when she does. Cameras are being reviewed because I formally requested it today. I'm not a dad, I'm a mom. Not everyone agreed with my brother, but enough did that it made me question myself, and he and his wife were very insistent. Update 1. About a week ago I posted about the bullying situation with my daughter and mentioned that this bully is related to someone high up in our district. I had a meeting with the district after my formal request for the camera footage and kept following up by email and phone, but I kept getting brushed off. I was frustrated, so I talked to my best friend who works in education, and she suggested that filing a police report would put a Bunsen burner under their ass. She was right. Once I had a copy of my assault report, and armed with all my past complaints and emails with the school resource officer, I sent everything to my district contact. Miraculously, they called me back the very same day. A meeting was set up and I'm meeting with them next week. Liberation Day was wonderful and my girl had a great time. She hasn't been punished, and honestly I was really enjoying spending time with her, so we made the most of it. We watched a movie, went shopping, etc. I work a lot and I'm a single mom, so time off outside weekends has been scarce lately, especially now that she's doing camps, making friends, wanting sleepovers, and such. I posted some pictures on my private account and my brother texted me. I won't go into everything because his message was long, but basically he said I'm spoiling her when she should be punished for fighting at school, and that I'm going to raise a criminal. I told him to mind his own business and his own kids. He replied, "She's not even really yours," and I snapped. I told him he hasn't been supportive since my husband died, and honestly he wasn't supportive even when we got married, so I don't value his opinion about my daughter. And if he and his wife want to teach their kids to let people hurt them or hurt others and let bullies do whatever they want, then maybe it's time we spend less time with them. Today we were supposed to go to my sister-in-law's birthday party. This was planned before all of this happened, a family event, but I think my daughter and I will sit it out for now. And before anyone asks, she isn't biologically my daughter, but legally she is. In the sense that I love her more than anything. I formally adopted her when she was 2, after I married her father. He passed away when she was 6, and I've had full custody ever since. Her biological mother hasn't been in the picture at all. Since my husband died, it's been just the two of us day to day. I hope to update after the meeting with the school. Update 2. Today we had the Zoom meeting. I went in expecting to go full maniac mode. I was ready to explode, absolutely go feral. But I guess all the legal work I've been doing around this was enough to light that fire under them. They indirectly asked me not to involve the authorities any further. The footage, which finally surfaced, proved my daughter's story. With that evidence and everything I'd brought to the table, plus the fact that I now had an attorney who had reached out to them, they finally expelled the boy. They assured me he will not be at the school next semester. It was a victory, but not enough for me to stop pursuing legal action. Maybe that makes me the bad guy, but screw it, I don't care. Assault charges are being filed with the video. This isn't something that ruins his life unless he keeps up the pattern of abuse. I'm also looking into getting my girl into a STEM-focused school, since that's her passion right now. I looked into programs, tuition, etc., and will be tight, but it's doable. I really believe she's talented, smart, and hardworking enough that giving her the chance to explore this is worth any inconvenience. And that should be enough, right? Oh, sweet summer child. My daughter doesn't even know about the meeting, she's been happily at another day camp. But a few days ago she asked me, "Mom, do you think I'm a bad person?" I told her no. She asked why her uncle seems to think she is. I asked what she meant. My dear brother's stepson has been texting with my daughter because they're actually close. My brother has been talking crap about my girl, calling her my little stray and saying she's not really family. That was the final straw. So, I'm hosting a 4th of July barbecue at my house, and I formally uninvited him and his wife. I texted him saying that the way he treats me and my daughter is completely unacceptable. I'm her mother, and my duty is to her. I can't have someone who looks down on her and treats her badly walking into our home, where she should feel safe. He is not a safe person for my daughter, and therefore he is not welcome in my home. My brother lost his mind, so badly I had to mute his number for a while just to have peace. He started with insults and belittling, but then he went after my daughter, called her terrible things, and then said I'm brainless for keeping my stray after all the trouble she's caused. I simply asked, what is your problem with her? Seriously. You're doing the absolute most to hate her. How does a grown man enjoy hating a child? He told me to screw myself, so I sent screenshots to our mom. Yes, I snitched. I'm an adult, I don't give a damn anymore. He's my brother, I love him, but I do not like him, and if he's going to show his whole ass, then fine, I'll get mom to smack him with the metaphorical stick. That was about an hour ago. My girl and I went out for pizza. Have fun, bro. He should be grateful it's our mother and not me who's about to break his own ass over this. Tonight I'll try talking to my daughter about school and, sadly, about how that uncle and aunt are top-tier hot garbage. I won't use those words, but I'm angry too. That's why they won't be around, and maybe we'll just take some time for ourselves. It's her and me, we're a team against the world. I will always have her back. Oh, and we're signing up for Krav Maga together. Thanks for the suggestion. Well, with the bully situation resolved, I think this is my final update. So I wanted to thank everyone who kept this mom sane and offered support. It's wild how simple, kind, affirming words can bolster a person. To those who shared their own stories of being bullied, I'm sorry you went through that. And as for your bullies, may a popcorn kernel get stuck in every one of their teeth and stay there for the rest of their lives. With love, always. Update 3. Hi. I'm speechless. A few days ago I told my older brother Mark, and by extension his wife Yuli, To shove their opinions where the sun doesn't shine after Mark went on a text rampage about my adopted daughter. For context, my daughter BB may not be biologically mine, but she is my daughter. I've known her since her first year of life, I've been her mom ever since. I married her father when she was too little to remember, and I legally adopted her. She has always called me mom. When my husband passed, it became her and me against the world, the dynamic duo. Recently, BB didn't start a fight, but she finished it, with a bully she had put up with far longer than she should have. The whole saga is on my account if you want all the details, but in short, she finally defended herself physically. Now he's expelled. My daughter wasn't punished at home, in fact, I told her good job for defending herself. That's when my crack-brained brother climbed up on his nonsense. He never liked my late husband and liked our daughter even less, always had something rude to say about them. But this pushed him into a huge rant about how BB is going to grow up to be a criminal, that I'm encouraging violence, and that the next time her feelings get hurt she'll think it's okay to start a fight. Yuli said she was concerned because single-parent homes produce angry, repressed kids who are more likely to end up in jail. I told them I never asked for their opinions, and the rest of my siblings agreed with me. But my brother wasn't done. He sent me vile messages about my daughter and his stepson, videos and screenshots of him calling her my little stray, apparently his favorite insult, and saying she's not my daughter and so on. So I uninvited him from my 4th of July barbecue. I told him he shouldn't speak to her or even look at her until he fixes his attitude, and he only got bolder. But to be clear, he's the oldest, but he's also adopted. Biologically, he's my cousin. 2 of his 4 kids are stepkids, Yuli is a widow. His hypocrisy is breathtaking. So I had my daughter send me all the evidence she had, then delete it from her phone, and I took all my screenshots and everything else and sent it all to my mom. The drama got intense. I don't have time for this crap. I don't know what my mom said to him, but she called me a few hours later and told me to let her know if he decides to show his whole ass again. She talked to BB on speakerphone while I was finishing up some snacks before bed and told her she loved her very much, that Uncle Mark was being an idiot, and that if he or Aunt Yuli tried to bother BB or me again, she should tell her. It poured on the 4th, so my barbecue ended up being just a handful of nearby family members and some friends. BB was happy, kicking her other uncles' butts in Mario Kart, and all the adults were drinking and dancing or watching the rain from my porch. When who walks in but Mark, Yuli, and their 4 kids. Yuli comes up to me with a whole chicken and asks where she can put it. I was like, excuse me, what? I asked her what she was doing here and why they were here at all. Apparently my dear brother hadn't told her about our latest blow-up and the revoked invitation, and she seemed genuinely surprised. I was already furious at that point, but the kids were playing video games and BB looked happy. BB was very obviously ignoring my brother. He said hello, and when she didn't respond, he complained, which is funny considering how much he brags about manners. My other brother C walked up to him and started talking quietly. I could hear Mark arguing, but C just kept a hand on his shoulder. I looked at Yuli, who seemed panicked and trying to fix things. I told her, listen, if you want to leave the kids here for a couple of hours, that's fine, but my brother is not welcome in my house, so you'll have to be the one to come pick them up. She thanked me and went to my brother, who was now being talked to by our other 2 brothers. I heard him say, kids, let's go, and his wife say, no. Kids, I'll be back at 3. Behave, and she took them home. I texted him reminding him not to talk to my daughter and that he is not welcome in my home until he apologizes for all the verbal abuse toward BB and fixes his attitude about her. My stepdad and mom showed up not long after, and when we told them what happened, Dad took his pipe to the porch and sat right by the door. Mom coordinated with Yuli so she could pick up the kids when she came back, and we managed to have a nice time. Today is Sunday. My mom asked all of us to come to church this week, so we went. She warned me Mark might be there. I warned BB. She said she was okay with it. I told Mom it was fine, but Mark needed to give BB plenty of space. I texted Mark that he needed to stay away from my girl. He replied, I don't need reminders. Fine then. The service went well. I'm not very religious, but Bibi had a solo and sang beautifully, which made this mom very happy. There was food in the event hall afterward, and Bibi asked if she could stay and chat with her friends. Of course, I told her, have fun. Everything was fine for about 45 minutes. I was sitting with my stepdad and one of my brothers when Mark came over to say goodbye. Everyone got a hug except me, not that I care. He said, "Kitty did great up there," and I said, "Who?" I could see that in that moment he knew he messed up. I don't know if he meant to say Kitty or not, and honestly, I don't care. I said who, again, and he muttered, "Bibi." I nodded and told him that that is her name, the one she's had this whole time. Yuli was trying to get them to leave, and he almost walked away when Bibi and her friends came over. She told me later she saw her uncle walk up to us, ignore hugging me, and it made her angry. So she came over to stand nearby as support with her friends. Yes, I told her that I'm an adult and I don't need her to defend me, that it's my job to protect her, not the other way around, and her only response was an okay. Kids. Mark waved at Bibi, and she gave him a very simple thanks, and then asked me if I was ready to go. I said yes, if she was. Mark sent me a short text saying I embarrassed him and our entire family with the scene I caused. Now he's upset because we don't need to make our problems everyone's business at church, and that I don't even go to church, so why am I invading their safe spaces? He called me immature and said I should stay away from his kids so I don't teach them such bad manners. I haven't responded. Bibi is getting dressed and we're about to go to my mom's house for lunch. My stepdad said Mark flat out refused to go once he confirmed I'd be there. Hello, Mark. He has told our parents that if I'm somewhere, he won't be. My response? I told my dad that if that's how he wants to be, we can go full no contact. I don't have patience for this nonsense, and that also means I won't be helping the next time he needs something. I'm out. My dad was quiet for a moment and said he understood, but asked me to remember that Mark's kids didn't do anything. It's fine if I want to hit Mark where it hurts, but he asked that I don't scorch the kids. I told him we would talk when we arrived. He's going to want to bring up our family vacation, the one I booked the hotel and passes for, because I work in that industry and I'm usually the go-to person for this stuff. We're supposed to go the first week of August. We try to do one big extended family trip a year. We'll see how the hell that goes. Update 4. Sorry, I posted this the day after writing it. I'm tired. Apparently I chose the right sub for this because Mark is on his bullshit once again. Last night was interesting. My girl and I arrived and she immediately went to play with her cousins. I sat on the grass with my stepdad, and C was already there. Mom was in the kitchen. I asked if she needed help but got the usual "get out of my kitchen" response, so I retreated for my own safety. Then Yuli arrived and came straight to me asking if I was okay. I told her my problem is with Mark, but yes, her words about my daughter and single parents bothered me. We talked. Yuli is the product of a single-parent home. I didn't know that. I always thought both her parents had passed. She feels strongly that kids need both a mother and a father in the house. Mark admitted that Vivi is a good kid and that he thinks I'm doing a good job with her, but when Mark is in one of his moods, she's learned not to get in the way. I didn't want to pry, but I asked if she was okay, and she gave me that "don't you dare" look, so I backed off. I told her I love the kids and I'll do everything I can for them, but Mark is working very hard to earn his ticket to No Contact Village forever. I love him, but I do not like him, and he is a real and present threat to my daughter and her well-being. She said she understood and hoped she and I could at least get along for the kids' sake so they wouldn't be cut off too. She said she and Mark have been having issues lately because her daughter Sadie and Mark have been clashing a lot. Apparently Sadie is like her biological dad, stubborn. She's a good kid with the kindest heart, but she's sensitive, Yuli said, because she's empathetic and expects others to be as well. I handed her a beer and asked what she meant, because I won't lie, I wanted the gossip. I was curious. This was the most Yuli had ever opened up to me about their home life. She and I have our whole history. I'll have to post about that someday, so I always assumed she just didn't like me. But today we had a few drinks, and she admitted that she and Mark have been disagreeing about co-parenting. Sadie calls him dad, and she's the only one of his stepkids who does. But lately she and Mark have been arguing a lot. Recently Sadie said she hates him, refuses to look him in the eye, and gives Yuli one-word answers. Yuli's eyes filled with tears and she kept wiping them away, apologizing because it's just been a lot. And ever since my mom talked to him, he's been very shut down. I finally got out of her that when Mom called him, she got straight to the point and said something like, "Who do you think you are to bully a child, your niece?" As if she wasn't going to take my daughter's side. He tried to say something, but she kept talking and eventually asked him why he doesn't like Bibi. He got offended and said he loves her and wants her to succeed, but my mom made it clear that if he's going to interact with my girl, he needs to follow my rules, just like I've respected his rules with his kids. Yuli said Mom literally told him, "It's not your house, it's not your rules," and told him she was very disappointed that he's treating an adopted child the way he hated being treated. Yuli said she didn't know much beyond that because it turned into a fight between them. He never told her he was adopted, which is wild to me because it's not a secret. I mean, we don't use the word adopted constantly in our family, but biologically speaking, I am my mother's only child and he is her only son. We aren't strangers to the concept of chosen family, we never have been. But Yuli was shocked by all of this. She actually believed Mark was my biological father's child, making Mom his stepmother. Nope. Mom is biologically his aunt because his mother passed from complications during childbirth. From what I know of her, she was incredibly sweet and knew that childbirth could be dangerous, so she arranged the paperwork for Mom to get custody if anything happened to her. I told Yuli that, and she went pale. Mark had made it sound like my younger brother, Mark, and I were full biological siblings and that everyone else was adopted. It's a web of lies so confusing that I'm genuinely not sure I even have it straight. Yuli spent the rest of the time chatting with everyone and getting drunk. Mom let her stay over, and Dad called Mark to tell him that she and the kids were staying. It's summer, the kids will be fine with Mom's pool and Grandpa. Mom took Yuli to the guest room, and I started asking questions while the kids watched a movie in the living room. What the hell is going on with Mark? Why is this happening? He wasn't always like this. So honestly, I was angry. You don't have to believe me, but I'm usually pretty level-headed. I'm calm most of the time. I'm the kind of person who wants to talk things out calmly, one-on-one, without making a scene. But this is my girl. I've been calm long enough, and he's her uncle. We can try to dance around each other, but this is going to have to be confronted eventually. And my girl loves her cousins, it would hurt her way more than it hurts me or him. And screw him if his ego matters more than my daughter's well-being. He's not my brother, not in any way that counts. Anyone who seeks to hurt Vivi is not family. I may not have birthed her, but damn do I love her. And I will not be the mother who forces her child to be polite to family when the family is the one causing the pain. Mom was quiet, and my dad made that sad angry face and left. Mom took me to the backyard and we sat in the garden. She said she wasn't telling me any of this to excuse Mark, at all, but that she feels part of this is her fault. Mark came to her with questions about his biological parents, and when he learned his father abandoned them, he got very angry. Mom said he asked why my dad, Mark's adoptive father, was distant with him. She said that over time my father improved, but yes, he used the phrase little stray a couple of times. I genuinely feel bad for him, I do, but it's not enough for me to feel obligated to fix this. So I told her it's sad, but he kept his origins a secret from his own wife, his stepkids hate him, and this has spiraled out of control. His bullying my daughter is a symptom of that, but still doesn't earn him a free pass. She agreed and said she's made a decision, the vacation can still happen with my help, but he is no longer invited. She said Yuli has permission to come, but under strict rules, and the kids can come, but I can pull the plug if I want, and it can just be a sleepover at her place with the kids, letting the parents have a kid-free night. I told her I'd get back to her by Tuesday. Tomorrow Vivi is at a sleepover with her best friend, and I have work to do tonight. So I have a lot on my mind, but I thought I owed an update. I'm mostly just exhausted, but I haven't backed down. Mom said she would talk to Mark again, but I told her that even if he stopped the insults, I would still need an apology for Vivi and for him to get help. I love Mark, and I do feel sorry for him, because I think he's just sad now. He feels alone. He isn't. He has been my brother my whole life, he's been family since before I was even born. I will always love him, but he's being an asshole, and if he isn't a safe person for my girl, then he doesn't get to be near us. Simple as that. I'm not going to pretend this is easy. It's torture. We're a very close family, but I will not torture my daughter by forcing her to be around someone who mistreats her. I will not teach her to shrink herself for bullies, even if the bully is family. So, I got this text from him about an hour ago, a disappointed face emoji. Okay, you win. I didn't respond. Then he sent, please, little sister, I can't take much more. No. I didn't respond. After 5 missed calls, he sent, I get it. I'm not your brother, okay? But I'm family. Can you at least acknowledge that? I treated Vivi badly. I'm sorry. She's the best. I love you. Please talk to me. I need to talk to you, okay? I didn't answer. Then he sent question marks. Mom has my girl right now, so I'm going to go see that movie Megan 2.0 and just exist for a while. I know this will make me look like a bad mother, and I'm prepared to accept that. I just need a second. I have to pick her up in a few hours, so here I am, waiting to go into the theater. Update 5. Well, the shit officially hit the fan. Luckily Bibi wasn't home for any of this. She was with her grandmother until the sleepover, and since then she's been at a friend's house. I took the time to enjoy a little peace, watching Bob's Burgers, Don't Judge Me, and drinking a bit of whiskey. I was trying to process my feelings about all of this and not worry about Vivi catching me feeling sad. She's 13 going on 45, but I don't want to burden her with worrying about me. The truth is, this hurts like hell. I love my brother, and his behavior is painful. Cutting him off hurts. It's a shame it came to this. There was a knock at the door. It was an aggressive knock. So I grabbed my baseball bat and checked the doorbell camera. Mark was drunk and crying. I spoke to him through the camera while texting with my family. We had a long conversation while C was on his way to pick him up. I listened as he complained that I love my brat more than him. I asked him how the hell he expected a mother not to protect her child. Today he and I argued, and he said some awful things, but eventually it came out that he had been bullied by certain family members and kids at school when he was young. They told him he would never amount to anything, and that's why he worked so hard for his degrees and his job. Listen, it was awful to hear what he went through. From what I could piece together, since he was drunk, it was something no child should ever endure. But how the hell does that excuse the way he treated my daughter and me? How does that make it okay for my girl to ask me if she's a bad person because he put it in her head that she's an unwanted stray? He didn't argue with that, and he even apologized. Mark said he can't survive without family and begged me not to abandon him. He said he'll do better. He begged me not to turn everyone against him. I know C arrived and told me to keep the door locked. Mark threw a punch and they scuffled on my porch for about 10 seconds before Mark stopped and sat down sobbing. It was messy. C told me not to worry and that we'd talk tomorrow. Then Mark texted me in a group chat with our other brother Zian and my sister Zaria, explaining that he and Zian had been drinking at a local bar. Zian wanted to figure out what the hell was making Mark act like this. Mark told him about the abuse and about being called little stray. He said he always felt like he wasn't really part of the family, especially as we all grew up, got married, and some of us had kids. He wanted things to stay the way they were, but now his family is falling apart. Then Zaria moved in with her girlfriend, and my parents started talking about selling the house for something smaller since all the kids are out of the nest. And apparently Sadie, in an argument, told him he wasn't her real dad. And Yuli started talking about a trial separation. I don't have context for these things, just that they happened. Then he and I started arguing, his words, not mine, and now he thinks everyone is against him, isolating him and abandoning him. Zian told Mark he should go to therapy, and since Zian is a psychologist, he knows colleagues who might be able to help. Mark got angry and stormed out. Then an hour later, there he was on my porch until C got to him, put him in the car, and Mark ranted about hating himself and that now everyone else hated him too. He started talking about dark things and self-harm, and C decided to take him to Mom and Dad. He eventually sobered up, and Yuli let him have it for disappearing and acting like this. She made it clear that she and the kids would be staying at the house and that he needed to stay away for at least a week. Dad says Mark is broken and barely speaks more than 3 words at a time. He's been lying around and took time off work. Basically, all of us gave him an ultimatum, for his marriage to survive, according to Yuli, for him to be allowed near me again, and for him not to be excluded from family events that I organize and pay for, and for him to continue receiving help from Mom and Dad, he has to go to therapy. He said fine and not much else. He sent me one single text a moment ago, sorry and nothing more. I wrote to my parents and they said he's physically okay, just on his laptop. I'm worried about my brother, but I can't lose focus. Vivi is my priority, and she needs therapy too. I want to get her in before the family vacation if possible, but I don't know if it'll happen. I have a lot of research to do. Luckily I have tonight and tomorrow with the house to myself since Vivi is enjoying time at her friends and wants to stay again tonight, and then they have a sleepover outing tomorrow night. I'm going to use tonight to research and watch a movie or something, and tomorrow to check in with my family. It's a lot. I'm texting with Yuli now to see how my nieces and nephews are doing. I just want this to be over. Update 6. I'm kind of using this as my diary at this point. I don't talk much about my feelings with others, so this will have to do for now. My brother finally accepted our terms. He mailed an apology letter to my house for my girl. Based on how it was written, I only gave her the last page, which was barely 5 lines of apology. The rest was reasons and excuses she didn't need to see. I told her that when she's 18, if she wants to read the whole thing, that's her choice. I won't throw it away, I don't believe in hiding things. But she's a child right now, so for now the letter goes in the chest. I received my own letter in the mail too, which is how I know he's actually seeking help. The idea of losing his wife and children has broken him, he says, and he realizes he had a lot of love for me, of course, but also a lot of resentment. This needs context to make sense. I was a difficult pregnancy. He saw Mom in pain, or at least discomfort, every week because of me, and the fact that the baby she wanted so badly was coming made him resent me. But we became close. I loved him, I idolized him even, and we were very close until I met my late husband. He hated him from the beginning, and he admits it. In the letter he says his hatred had less to do with differing opinions and more to do with my attention shifting to my then boyfriend, later husband, and then to his daughter, my girl. I talked to Mom on an unrelated call and she asked if I'd gotten the letters. I said yes and read her the one meant for my daughter. My girl is very strong. She forgave her uncle, but she will not forget, and she does not want him near her. She doesn't trust him, but she'll be cordial. He has no right to her life. She pointed out that I am on her side, as are her grandparents, my parents. She expresses disappointment in him for not making better choices and hopes he'll be kinder to his own children. He hasn't sent that letter yet, but that was her summary. I told Mom the vacation is happening, but he isn't invited. I also spoke with his wife, we're fine. She and the kids will go on the vacation. My rage has given way to sadness and exhaustion. Thank God my girl is strong as steel while still having a kind heart. But I don't take that for granted, therapy and communication are always key, and I am not alone. My siblings, well, most of them, have stepped up and been helping. I don't feel so alone now. If anything, I feel overwhelmed. So I guess we're taking it one day at a time. Thanks for letting me vent. Writing it out helps. Update 7. Hi. Sorry for not updating. Frankly, being a single mother is a full job by itself, and then school started again with everything that comes with it. You're not here for that chatter, so where to begin? I guess I can start by saying that apparently this story was read by someone on YouTube. Yep. And then my story ended up on TikTok. Many words to say that while I'm anonymous to most of you, I'm no longer anonymous to most of my family. Hi, everyone. Sadie found my story on YouTube, and from there it snowballed until basically everyone was caught up, including my brother. So I didn't update for a while. My brother made an account and started reading the comments, and he was devastated by how he was perceived, but he also accepted it. Since then he's been in therapy and in a support group, and he's also gotten sober. He and his wife are in couples counseling, and he's still staying at my parents' house. Our original vacation plans for August were postponed because of everything going on with me, and also because of a family wedding. We'll be taking our trip during Thanksgiving week instead, which is coming up soon. We talked about possibly allowing Mark to come. I didn't even need to give my opinion, he simply said he shouldn't go, and he won't. Instead, he and his support group will be doing community work in our city. One of my cousins, who can't make the trip, will help house sit and support him in staying sober. My brother has been sober for 2 months now. We're very proud of his progress. But the trip is at a resort with a big bar. I really couldn't find another hotel or Airbnb after our last-minute date change, and Mark doesn't want the stress of traveling, navigating newly rebuilding family relationships, and being tempted by a big bar. He also wants to try again when he hits a full year sober. Sorry, I'm rambling as I try to remember everything since my last post. BB is doing well and is in a new school. She really likes it and has friends, but honestly she's knee-deep in clubs and extracurriculars. She's even gotten really into theater now and is in an after-school art group. I honestly don't know how she's pulling off nearly straight A's with everything going on, but she is. I think it helps that if she makes honor roll, she gets to pick a new computer game, but if she gets straight A's, she wins the newest Sims pack. The family is still healing. There was so much drama, and it was so exhausting. Things have been pretty quiet for a while, so we're all breathing this strange air right now, kind of like that silly butterfly meme of "is this peace?" and not the dog in the burning house saying, "this is fine." If that makes sense. Mark and I are still a little tense. BB forgave her uncle so quickly, but I have more reservations. He's working to rebuild trust, but we've had long conversations, and he's aware that everything is fragile. And he is very aware that if he slips, I won't show mercy. He is still not allowed near any of the kids unless one of us adults is present, and he has been genuinely quiet and more introspective. We've talked openly as a family about how we've all been hurt and are healing, about how stigma around non-biological family needs to end. Family is family. BB is no less my daughter or less my parents' granddaughter simply because of how she came to us. Same for Mark. Unless things go downhill again, I don't think my saga belongs in this sub anymore. I'm keeping the account active because I've found some incredibly helpful subs that I want to keep reading and learning from. Anyway, thank you for letting me vent, and for helping me keep at least a small grip on my sanity. I'm happy to answer questions, but if not, stay cool. I'm excited for a much-needed vacation. Ban.